Okay, as a reminder, please wait for the microphones. There's one on each side of the room. This time we'll open up for questions for Zack. We're going to go over there on the left.
Hey, Zack, how you doing? So how did you spend the 5 days off, and how much did you throw? How much did you get ready for Saturday?
Spent it with family on our off days and at the field, obviously, when we had our workouts. But I threw when I was here, threw a bullpen on Wednesday, full bullpen. I'll throw a couple more off the mound today just to get that little refresh and just try to be ready for tomorrow.
Okay, we're going to stay on the left.
Any concerns about any concerns about the layoff or anything like that?
No, I mean, we've done it before throughout the season. It's not always this long, but it does happen, and just, I don't know, you throw a couple bullpens in between and hope for the best.
Okay, next question. We're going to go there in the middle.
You guys just faced the Mets a couple of weeks ago. Just what sort of a challenge do they pose offensively?
They're a good team. They're pretty lengthy in the lineup, and they got some power, they got some speed on the bases, and they make contact. So, it's a tricky lineup, and they're hot right now. They're playing good baseball, and just try to go out there and just minimize the guys on base, just those strikes, try to get ahead, and yeah.
Next question. Todd on the left.
Zack, you've had a lot of success in the postseason. I'm just wondering, can you remember how you felt before that first postseason start? And do you feel the same every time since you've pitched? Or are you more comfortable? Were you nervous the first time? What do you remember?
I think you get nervous probably any time. It's very important, especially game one, to set the tone. Keep the fans in it, and just keep them off the board. Just try to let our team score and keep the momentum on our side. And you always get nerves, but once you get out there, they kind of settle down a little bit, and you kind of forget about them, and just do your normal job in this pitch, and just try to do the best you can.
Okay, we're going to go to Dave Lennon on the back on the left.
Hey, Zack, we spend a lot of time kind of quantifying anything with stats and that, but in 22, you guys kind of had a similar run to what the Mets kind of went through this year. Is there something more dangerous or something real about when a team gets on those kind of rolls? I mean, how did you guys feel, and was that kind of a legit thing that made you guys more dangerous during that time? Yeah,
I mean, just being in baseball, you always hear, get into the playoffs. Anything can happen. You always hear that, and when you aren't necessarily in it, you're like, oh, whatever, okay. And then, once it happens to you or your team, you're like, yeah, it's kind of real, because you get that momentum, and you're playing well, and maybe you don't necessarily expect to be there, or maybe you do kind of expect to be there, but you're just playing well and you're winning, and you're having a lot of fun with the guys and stuff like that. It's definitely a roller coaster, and there's some truth to just get in and see what happens, hope for the best. So they played really hard over there, and they scrapped, and they played well down the stretch, and they made it to the playoffs. So credit to them, and their players and staff, and it's hard to make the playoffs, that's for sure.
Okay, straight in the middle.
Hey, Zack, is it a little crazy for you to be facing the Mets in the playoffs, or are you far enough removed from having played there that it doesn't really occur to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of both. It's fun playing against those guys always, but at the same time, I've been over here for a while now, and there's no hard feelings. Everything's kind of changed over there personnel-wise. So, like I said, there's no hard feelings. It's just baseball at this point, and but at the end of the day, I want to win. So.
Okay, to the left against the wall.
Zack, I know you talked about wanting to be better against lefties before the season started. You put up incredible numbers against righties all season. What do you think allowed you to be even better against right-handed batters this season specifically?
Don't know. Honestly, like I tried to attack them the same repertoire and stuff like that. I don't think we really changed too much. Maybe this execution a little bit better, but there's nothing really set against righties. I did throw the split a little bit more against them this year. Maybe that helped me out just on the sinker end a good bit. But, you know, our concentration this year coming in was getting better against lefties, and I feel like I did that a little bit. So, you know, it's a step forward.
Okay, we're going to go in the back on the right to Bob.
Zach, everybody talks about the home field advantage here, of course, but you know what you saw the first round the last few years, it seems like the visiting teams do quite well in the playoffs. Why do you think that is?
No idea. No, I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. You know, this is a tough place to play, and we always took it that way. And you know, the Diamondbacks came in here and beat us 2 games to win the series last year, and that kind of hurt us. But you know, we're much more hungry this year. Kind of left a bad taste in our mouth, and we don't want to do that for our fans. All we needed to win was 1 last year, and we didn't do that. So, you know, we're pretty hungry this year.
Okay, in the back on the left, Tim.
Knowing that you were going to face the Brewers or Mets on Saturday, were you watching the game last night at all?
Yeah, a few of us got together and watched the game over at Castellanos' house, and you know, we had a little cookout and stuff like that. So a bunch of us were over there and watched the game.
Knowing Pete the way that you do, playing together, I believe it's just his rookie year, what did you think of that moment in that spot for him?
Yeah, I know he likes the spotlight, and that was a perfect spot for him. I think, you know, he's a good guy, and you know, he has the power. Maybe he wasn't swinging it like he liked to, but you know, he always has that power in his back pocket, and he could always, you know, do what he did at any moment. So you know, I'm happy for him as a person, and happy for him.
Okay, you're going to take one more over here on the right, second row.
Zach, you guys have had a lot of familiarity in the playoffs in the past 2 years. Obviously, when you played Atlanta, there's going to be familiarity now with the Mets again. How do you approach that? Do you just do what you do and say it's best on best and see who wins, or do you try and adjust things a little bit?
Yeah, you know, like you said, there's a lot of familiarity there, and they know me, I know them, and it's kind of this cat and mouse game at this point. You know, it's I just pitched against them 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. So. You know, it's pretty fresh, but, you know, at the same time, you know, get out there, see how the game starts going. Maybe we change some things up, maybe we don't. You know, I'm going to pitch to my strengths and how I pitch, and if we need to, you know, veer from that, we will.
Okay, thanks, Zach.
Thanks, guys.
Rob Thomson will be in shortly. How you doing, Rob? Okay, well, at this time we'll open it up for questions for Rob. We're going to start there in the middle with Alex in the front.
Hi, Alex.
Hey, Rob. Do you have a Game 2 starter for us yet?
Yes, it will be Christopher Sanchez.
And can you just explain what went into that decision?
Well, I think, you know, just looking at playing the Mets, going into Citi Field, I think it's going to be a pretty hostile environment. And looking at Sanchez's home road splits, I just thought it was really the smartest thing to do.
Okay. You stay over there on the left in the middle.
Rob, also along those lines, last year Sanchez, his first career postseason start was kind of a toss-up between him and Walker. He hadn't pitched in a month, and now you're trusting with Game 2. Can you talk about his evolution? I know you've talked a lot about it this year, but just from last year to this year with Sanchez.
It's really amazing the steps that he's taken, the growth that he's had, not only physically but mentally and emotionally. And this guy started the year at 92, 93 miles an hour, really commanding the baseball. Now he's 95, 96, touching 97, and maintaining his command. The changeup is a plus pitch. The slider, he's landing, gone deep into games, held his composure, has had some innings where he could have fallen apart, which he's done in the past, and he just kept fighting through it. Maintaining his composure and his poise. He's just grown leaps and bounds.
In the middle there, Corey.
Rob, you said the other day that Hoffman had a stiff neck. Is there any update there?
He's fine. Yeah. He's going to throw in the bullpen today. He's good to go.
And then the Mets have several left-handed starting pitchers. In this series, is that going to force you to utilize more of your roster than you otherwise would?
Possibly. Yeah. You know, we'll just take it case by case and day by day and, you know, go from there. But, yeah.
We're down the front here, in the first row.
Hey, Rob, how exciting is it for Aaron Nola to pitch a Game 3 and potentially maybe even a clinching game?
Well, knowing Aaron Nola, you probably won't see any different type of excitement out of him pitching Game 1, Game 2, Game 3, spring training game. He's calm, poised. He doesn't show much emotion, but I'm sure he's just excited to pitch in the playoffs.
Okay, going to go the far back over there on the left, Dave Lennon.
Rob, in 22, you guys had a very similar run to what the Mets went through this year. You came back from a big deficit early on. You went on a good roll, had to fight like crazy at the end to get to the playoffs. Did that make you guys a more dangerous team? And like, do you recognize that in a team like the Mets because you guys kind of went through the exact same thing and know what it takes to do that?
Oh, sure. I said when we were in London that do not fall asleep on the New York Mets because they're very talented, and they are. They can beat you in a lot of different ways. They're a good club, well managed. They got thumped throughout the lineup. They can steal bases when they need to. Defense is solid. Starting pitching's really good. So yeah, they're on a roll, and momentum's a good thing to have. You can lose it, as you well know, watching us last year against Arizona. You can lose it awfully quick, and it's all about really the next day's starting pitcher. But they got a good club.
Okay, down here in the front.
Hey, Rob. To follow up on that, and I know this has been a message of yours in the past, but given the remarkable resiliency they've shown just this week with some of the most craziest comebacks you could possibly see, how much of it a message is it now, or will it be over the next 24 hours, that if you get a lead, pile on, pile on, pile on?
It's always a message. It's a constant message and it doesn't matter who you're playing. It's really, this game's about controlling the strike zone. If you do that, you're going to win a lot of games. And once you get the lead, then you keep going and you keep putting pressure on the other club because they will feel it. And as you see in these short series, the road teams have won a lot of series and sweeps. And I think what happens is, because it's my theory anyway, road team hits first, likely to score first, and then the home team or the team that gets behind kind of panics and they get out of their strike zone. They try to do too much, and it just snowballs on them. So, I think the constant message, doesn't matter whether it's the start of the year or playoff time, is you get the lead and you put the hammer down and put them away.
Okay, we're going to go far left, Matt, against the wall.
Rob, have the Mets given you, do you guys know who's starting for the Mets in Game 1?
Not yet, no.
And you said you would wait until you knew who you were playing to determine sort of left field and second base. Does their they don't have very many lefties in their bullpen, how much will that play into maybe how you make your lineup decisions?
It'll play some into it, but it'll be more about the starting pitcher to begin with, and then we'll adjust from there.
Okay, in the middle, Alex.
Given that the Mets are left-handed heavy with their starting rotation, do you expect Hayes to get more playing time this series? Or?
I would think so, if that's who they're going to start. We don't know the rotation, but there's going to be at least 2 left-handed starters, I would think. So, yeah, he's going to get playing time.
And is he healthy still?
Yeah, everybody's healthy. Knock on wood. Rojas feels good today. Hayes feels really good today. So.
Okay, Todd on the left.
Rob, besides Zach's just talent, is there anything that makes him a particularly good postseason pitcher?
I think his calmness. I don't think he gets rattled at any time. Nola's a lot like that. Hence, that's why he's probably a good Game 3 starter for us going into Citi Field. But, yeah, I think it's just his poise and his calmness that, gives him an edge.
Okay, here on the right.
Hi, Rob. The last 2 years, you guys had to face familiar foes in the postseason, having to do so again this year. How much more of a challenge, or what type of different challenge is that for your squad?
I don't know. I think for both of us, from a scouting perspective, I think it sort of helps us because there's not a whole lot of work to do. You're always trying to find an edge. I don't know if there's a disadvantage on one side or the other, really. We just go out there and we know each other and know each other very well, and you got to make some adjustments here and there. And go out and play the game.
Okay, far left, middle.
How do you feel, Rob? How do you feel like you guys handled the 5 days off? Did you get everything out of it that you wanted?
Yeah, I was really happy with it. I was really happy with the focus of the guys coming in, And we gave them Monday off. Tuesday was a full workout with a lot of high-velocity machine work in the cages for our hitters because, you're a little bit more concerned about the hitting and the timing of the hitters as opposed to the pitching side of it. But we got a lot of high-velocity work on Tuesday, a lot of breaking ball work, heavy velocity breaking ball work. Wednesday was the inter-squad game, and that went really well. I really loved the intensity of it. The guys played really hard for 8 innings. Yesterday was an optional workout, and most of the guys came in and followed it up with a lot of velocity work in the cages, and then they were today. So I really liked the prep that the guys put in. Kevin and his staff did a great job on the hitting side. And, you never know, but I feel like we're ready.
Back on the left hip. The last 2 years, a lot was made out of them looking sluggish coming off of the bye. Did you talk to anybody or try to approach this week differently in any way now that you're on the other side of it?
Yeah, we did a lot of studying on other teams, what they did, and put our own plan together. So there was a lot of running in the outfield sprint work, try to keep their legs moving. Again, the velocity work for timing, the inter-squad game to get some competition going. So, we think we put a pretty good plan together. We'll see.
Okay, down here in the middle, Destiny.
Rob, Bryce has been dealing with the elbow for the last couple months. Over that time span, have you noticed pitchers attacking him a different way? And how confident are you in his ability to rise above that challenge?
Yeah, I'm really confident in Harp, no matter what, especially this time of year. But I don't think his elbow is bothering him now. I'm not sure if pitchers went after him any different than they did before. He's a guy that tends to rise to the occasion, and I'm confident and I'm hoping that he does the same.
Have the 5 days off really helped the elbow?
I would think so. I don't think it could hurt. And he looked really good. He had a line drive home run to left field that, I don't know, got 20 feet off the ground maybe in the inter-squad game. So he looked really good.
Okay. Anything else, Rob? All right. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
Okay. T.Realmuto will be in shortly. Okay, we're going to open up for questions for JT. Okay, first question here in the middle.
Hey, JT, what do you think has made Zack Wheeler so successful in the playoffs the last couple of years?
I just think he's a competitor. I think he's obviously all season long, he's extremely consistent for us. He goes out there every day and gives us a chance to win. But then I think there's something about him in the postseason where he enjoys rising to the occasion, and he really enjoys being that guy for us that we all look to and we all count on. And I just think there's a little more intensity in him when it comes to the postseason, and that's saying a lot for somebody who's clearly intense all season long.
Okay, down here in the first row.
Hey, JT, what's the most noticeable difference you've seen in Christopher Sanchez from last year to this year?
I would say command, specifically of his fastball command. I think he's done a really good job this year of being able to use both sides of the plate with his two-seam, and as well as being able to throw it up and down. So last year was a little more of, hey, we're just trying to get in the strike zone, get him to command the strike zone and be able to work ahead of guys, kind of using bigger parts of the plate with the fastball. This year it's a little more specific with him being able to use different locations, up, down, in, out, and be able to pitch to those specific spots. And then also just being able to use his slider a little more. I think his slider's gotten better. He used it for strikes early in the count well, and then has gotten a lot of chase with 2 strikes, specifically to righties this year, which I didn't think we did as much last year. And then obviously, his changeup's been his bread and butter since day one, so that stayed consistent and stayed good as well.
Okay, second row right here.
You guys have made familiarity with the teams that you play in the playoffs kind of a regular thing. How much of a cat and mouse game does it become when two teams know each other so well and you're kind of game planning on how to attack them both from the your pitchers against their hitters and vice versa when you're batting against their pitchers?
Yeah, I think there's a certain element to that. I think just having so much experience against them and knowing that obviously they're a very good ball club and they're going to make adjustments. So it's kind of a back and forth of, are we going to make this adjustment and hope that they don't, or there is a game of cat and mouse there, but at the end of the day, it's just we have to go out there and execute. We can't try to think too much about what they're going to do to us. We have to have our own approach, our own plan, and try to execute that to the best of our ability. At the end of the day, if we do that, it doesn't matter too much about what adjustments they're trying to make. We just need to execute what we're doing.
There in the middle on the right.
JT, the core of this team probably isn't really young anymore. I mean, you guys have been around a while. You came so close the last 2 years. Can you just talk about maybe what you're feeling going into this playoff series?
Just excited, really. I think, the experience that we've gained the last 2 years, it's addicting, and it's winning in the postseason is something that we all really enjoy doing, and we've come accustomed to it. So we want to take that next step and actually be able to finish it off this year and win the World Series. And I feel that the experience that we've gained the last 2 years, both the good and the bad, will help us in this run.
Okay, we go in the middle on the left.
JT, the last couple of years playing the wild card series, you guys have maybe had to piece your rotation together, not been able to do exactly what you want. What kind of luxury is it that you guys can set it up the way you want right now, and that you have an Aaron Nola in a Game 3 and a Ranger Suarez in a Game 4?
Yeah, it's nice. I think that's certainly the advantage of not having to go play the wild card, is that your guys are fresh and we have them lined up the way that we want to use them. Obviously, there's something to going and winning a wild card series and getting to take that momentum into this division series. But for us, it was good to be able to set things how we want and make sure our guys got the rest they needed.
Okay, in the back on the left, Dave.
JT, in 22, you guys had kind of a similar run to what the Mets went through this year, coming back from an early deficit, getting in with 87 wins. What is it about teams like that when you kind of get on a roll that make you guys so dangerous? Do you recall what made you guys so dangerous during that time? And do you see kind of that with what the Mets have done recently, like the past week?
For sure. I definitely see a lot of similarities. I think it's just this game is it's such a game of momentum, and success inside of baseball is very contagious. So when you start gaining confidence and you start feeling good about yourself, and you see your teammates succeed, and then you come in a big spot, that's extremely contagious, and it just gives you confidence going forward. And I think that's something you're seeing with the Mets right now. They're a really hot team. They have a lot of momentum, and that's very similar, like you said, to us in 2022. You get in late, you're riding the high, and then you just roll with that confidence, and it takes you through. So I think it's important for us to be able to come out and start well in this series and try to put an end to the momentum that they've clearly gained.
Okay, we're going to go down here to the middle. Alex, just wait for the mic.
You mentioned that you guys have had a lot of experience in the playoffs over the past 2 years. What do you think you guys have learned from that experience?
We've learned a lot, honestly. I think just, we came in 2022 without a lot of expectations, and just kind of grew as a team and gained a lot of confidence in each other. And then last year, I think, obviously there were more expectations on us, and we didn't perform the way we wanted to. So I think this year we just have to go in and know that every day is a new day, and we can't get too high with the highs and too low with the lows. Like, no matter, until a series is over, we can't count our eggs. After we were up 2-0 and against Arizona last year, we felt great about it, and we didn't finish the job. So no matter what happens in the first couple games in a series, we got to continue to push and continue to fight until the end.
And then how do you think this week went, like from a hitting perspective? Did you feel like you benefited from the velocity work in the cages and the intra-squad game and things like that? I think so, yeah. I think obviously nothing quite replicates in-game pace and actually stepping in the box and facing major league pitching. It's hard to replicate that, but the work that we did do in the cage and having that inter-squad, it's as close as you can get to game-like. So like I mentioned, I think the off days is going to benefit us in the long run, just being able to get guys healthy and fresh.
Destiny?
JT, what did you see from Ranger in the inter-squad game the other day, and are you confident that his struggles are behind him?
Yeah, I thought he looked great. I mean, his two-seam looked back. It looked like it was sharp and late, and just talking with him after his outing, I saw that confidence in him. Like, he felt really good about how he felt and how his pitches were moving and his shapes. So for me, that's all I needed to see. Less about what I felt in the box, but I saw him confident and he felt good about his outing. So for me, I have a lot of confidence in him going forward.
So you faced him in the batter's box. You didn't catch him.
Yes, I faced him, and obviously we split it up. I think I had one at bat off of him.
I guess that confidence that you talked about, is that something that just hasn't been there the last couple of weeks?
Not necessarily. I mean, Rangers always got confidence. I mean, more like he felt good about his delivery and the shape of his pitches and how sharp and late his sinker was. Hearing him talk about that, I think that's just something he's missed recently. The shapes haven't been as sharp and as late as they typically are with him.
Okay, on the left with Todd.
JT, Zack was saying, as well as he's pitched in the postseason, he still feels some nerves before games, and then they kind of go away once he gets in the mound. I'm wondering, have you seen any hint of nerves from him in maybe pregame meetings or any glimpses of that? Like, what's he like before a game?
Calm, honestly. I think Zack doesn't even, talking to him in meetings before every single game, sometimes it looks like he's actually about to fall asleep. And this is an hour before the game. He's just that calm, and like it's almost like I don't know if he is or not, but it almost seems like he's meditating, like he's just laying there listening and focusing, it seems like. So he never really seems calm or nervous to me, but I'm sure, everybody's going to be feeling that this time of year.
Okay, over here on the right, far right.
JT, to go back to the momentum talk, you guys were the club that kind of gained that momentum in the last 2 years, and especially 2 years ago, found a way to hone that and carry it from series to series. Now you're on the flip side, you had the week off. What's the key in your mind to making sure that you stop that momentum or take that momentum back from the Mets?
I think it's a good start. I think us getting off on the right foot and hopefully, grabbing an early lead tomorrow, winning game one, just putting it into the momentum and just getting it on our side. We don't, obviously, in our clubhouse, we feel confident about ourselves. We feel good going into the series, but they just came off of a big series win. They're celebrating. They're clearly going to be riding high coming into the series. So for us, it's just extremely important to start off on the right foot and to have good at-bats, to grind out their pitcher, to throw the ball well, play good defense. That stuff is even more important early in the series just to try to end the momentum that they've accumulated.
Okay, far left, Tim.
Did you get in on the Castellanos Cookout Mets Brewers viewing last night?
Yeah, I was there.
What was it like, not only watching that game, which was a heck of a game, but doing it with your teammates, knowing you're going to face the winner 2 days later?
Yeah, it was fun. We do cookouts like that stuff pretty regularly throughout the season. That was probably the first time we've ever done one and actually watched baseball. Usually we're just hanging out, maybe watching a football game, but none of us have ever sat around and watched a baseball game together. So that was kind of interesting. It was different, but it was enjoyable. We enjoyed it. We had fun together. The food was really good, so that was a plus.
And who was there?
A lot of guys. It'd be hard to name them all. Probably over half the team was there, yeah.
Okay, anything else for JT? Okay, thanks, JT.
Thanks, guys.
Mets manager Carlos Mendoza will be in shortly.